We are Tailgate Talk. Welcome into the show. Episode 4. I'm starting to lose track. I'm Matt Thomas. With me, we got Kyle Mawhinney, Trent Williams, and a very professional Kyle Schumann. How you guys doing?
Good.
Doing pretty well.
Yeah, we're getting close. We're last week of preseason camp.
Sure.
By this time next week, we'll be getting ready to kick off Penn State football in live action. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
we actually have football this week.
Yeah, Coco's all business. Look at him.
No days off, boys.
yeah, until we start getting some of the videos out from the tailgates, and then we'll see what no days off looks like for Coco.
Yeah.
So, but
Strictly business.
just a few housekeeping notes. So this is going to be our last preseason episode. We're going to look at the special teams a little bit and then do win-loss predictions for the year. Then be on the lookout. Obviously, next week's a little weird with the game being on a Thursday night. Episode coming earlier in the week with a Purdue preview, and then we'll be coming back sometime after that game to recap and look towards Ohio. So without further ado, we ready to get into the special teams?
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's get that over with so we get into the fun stuff of actually looking at the wins and losses of the season.
Special teams is fun.
Hey,
It's
Matt wants special teams. Let him have it.
Complimentary football.
Yeah.
Complimentary football.
Three phases.
Yes, it is. So I think there are a little bit some interesting discussions. I think there is actually a decent amount of hype coming in with these special teams. If you look at the different position by position breakdowns, I wanted to start with punter. That's probably the most clear cut. Looks like it's probably going to be Alex Mcketta, the true freshman. He was I'm looking at Rivals on 3 right now. He was a 3-star. He was the number 8 position punter in the class of 2022. Hear a lot of good things. I think he went to the same high school in Georgia as Blake Billigan. So correct me if I'm wrong there. But I think that's going to be a pretty clear cut position battle win. Any thoughts on that?
No, I mean, I think the biggest thing is losing Jordan Stout obviously is huge. I mean, not just in the punting game, but in every factor of special teams, really. So, I mean, he has a really, really big weekend in the NFL and preseason. So, always like to see that, but it's just a huge loss.
Well, he didn't get drug tested like our boy Blake Gilligan, but
you hope to not really need the punter too much, but
last year we did.
I know. Hopefully this year we don't. But
that certainly came in handy though last year. We took it for granted, starting every defensive position within the 20-yard line. But
yeah,
Coco, you have any thoughts?
No, it's just nuts. Like saying for Stout last year, like you felt confident that like no matter where we were in the field, you used to know that like okay, like, the other team starting from within their 25 at least, we can be on the opposite side of the field, and he's like boots at like 80 yards. So hopefully we can. I'm going to have that again this year.
In reality, the special teams discussion is who's replacing Jordan Stout. So look, because he did it all. But looking at place kicker again, replacing Jordan Stout. This might actually be somewhat of a position battle. You have Sanders Sadehak, who was also a fairly highly touted kicker coming in 2021. He was the number 2 overall kicker in the class. And then Jake Pinniger. My thoughts are it's probably going to be Sadehak at some point, like even if it's not right away, like at some point during the season. I think just the talent's there. But I hope there's a role for Pinniger somewhere. Like I just, losing the position battle last year, I have a little special place in my heart for guys that stay around for, I think he's 5 years now. So I hope there's a spot for him.
Yeah, and I think Franklin in the preseason has touched a little bit on Pinniger and the role he has had, even though, it's tough when you lose a starting position and now you're back around here battling again for that position. But I would assume to start the season, we'll see Pinniger out there. I'd be surprised if it wasn't.
Yeah, I don't necessarily know what was wrong with the arrangement they had in like 2019 and 20, where it was Pinniger short, Stout long. Apparently Stout did better in camp last fall, but I don't know if we necessarily saw that translate to the field last year. So and that killed us in a couple spots. So hopefully some improvement there. Coco, what you got?
Agreed.
Agreed.
Oh, I don't really
Yeah.
have much on the special teams, but I'm gonna be completely honest.
Oh, oh, oh. We,
Honesty.
we
Yeah,
appreciate.
I'm being completely honest.
Well,
Yeah, I mean,
we appreciate.
It's
I
not the
agree.
most exciting position
No, I agree with you.
or
I mean,
unit.
you'd hope that they would give the guy who hung around the long time, a chance at the very least to show what he's able to do. And if he doesn't go out there and perform, then I would bring in the young guy and
All
see
I
what
know
he
is
can do.
we were at Penn State. Bergstrom was the field goal kicker at the football field. So if we needed if Franklin needs some extra guys back there, Trent can be our backup field goal kicker. We need it.
That was a rarity.
Only the field goals, no
Well,
point after
it can
attempts.
it can only be like 30 yards. After that, it gets very inaccurate.
Yeah.
But
The
he was dialed
accuracy
for
is
like
the
he was dialed for like 30
accuracy
yards.
is there from the short yardage. I will say that. Yes.
All weather conditions too. We will add to that.
Yeah, true. It was a turf field too, so I'm not sure how we'll do in the muddy grass. But again, Franklin, if you listen, we got like your 30-yard field goal kicker here. So
Anywho, thank you for that. Look into Trent Williams' life, Coco.
welcome.
Kickoff specialist. Again, maybe Pinniger. I was reading, I think it was Center Daily Times. They had Gabriel Nuosu, the 6'7", 330-pound punter. That might be fun. Kind of be like a return of Big Toe Joey Julius.
Yeah.
I'd like to see that.
I've seen
Joey.
a couple of video clips of him punting, and it's just awesome to see him punting.
Yeah. Saw him live at the Blue White game, and it's cool. It's cool. So,
Oh, is that a shot at Trent? You saw him live at the Blue and White game, yeah.
some of us have dedication. There was 25% of us of this group was at the Blue White game.
Oh, man.
Oh,
And
Says the guy that skipped the 2016 Ohio State
Yeah.
game by
50% of-
choice because
I
we
had
were
to-
going to get blown out. His reasoning behind it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No,
And
I
we
had to-
don't have dedication. And we don't have dedication. Mhm.
and I had to
Continue
work.
on.
I had
Continue
to
on.
work. No. I get to defend.
He had to
myself
work
now.
the next day. The next day.
Yeah.
oh,
Stop.
Yeah.
Just stop.
And
Move
I
on.
learned. I
you
learned from my
will. You decided. You willfully chose. I'm skipping the 2016 Ohio State game. So you can't
learned-
ever talk about dedication. Next question. Thank you.
I
Wow.
learned
Next
from my
question,
mistakes.
thank you.
I learned from my mistakes, unlike some people on this chat. So anyway, kick returners. I think there might actually be something here. So the kickoff returner likely going to be Devin Ford again. I think that's a good role for him, a way to get him on the field and use his skill set. Punt returner, again, looking at Center Daily Times, they have Parker Washington. And I don't know. I mean, kind of replacing that role that John had. I feel like special teams, like it never, I wouldn't go as far as say it was a weakness, but it feels like we never really try to use it to our advantage. I feel like with punting, we're always just taking a fair catch, or kickoffs, we're doing the analytics or whatever they do, and it makes more sense to just take the touchback. And I don't know. I wonder if maybe there's someone on that roster that can not just be the safe returner, but can also be explosive as well.
I mean, I think we've heard the name Singleton thrown around out there for trying to get him back there. And I mean, we did it with Saquon. You've seen him back there, and you've seen how that could turn out, some electric returns. That's a big debate. Do you want a star player back there and risk injury when you have these guys getting a 30-yard head start running full steam at you? It's up there for debate. Personally, I think we should get the ball in our best players' hands as frequently as possible.
Yeah, just gonna say that, like, everyone always debates, do you want your best guy back there or no, risk injury? I think Singleton, like, I just want to see him as much as possible. Everyone sees his highlight tape. You just want to see the most electric guy have the ball in his hands. Like we gave Jahan the ball how many times last year, and he made how many plays with it. Give your best guy with the ball at the best times and see what happens.
But even with Jahan back there last year, I mean, I don't have the stats, so I can't necessarily say for certain, but I feel like every time he was just fair catching. Like, so what's
wait,
like,
this is one stat you don't have ready.
I'm trying to reduce the amount of time we talk about this stuff, so I'm just comparing it back.
In Matt's defense, it's hard to find some of those stats.
Yeah.
But I will say I agree with Matt that I think no matter who you put back there, if you kind of have a passive approach to special teams, I don't think it's going to matter whether it's Nick or whoever you put back there. I think they definitely need to be a little more aggressive because I think it's a phase of the game they could capitalize more on with some of the talent they've had and they have now.
So,
Um,
because especially if our offense is anything like last year,
When,
No, we
when
already
it'd
we
be-
previewed the offense. We're optimistic.
well, we'll see. We'll see. Anything else on special teams, boys? No. All right.
Glad that's over
Here-
with.
Thank God.
Oh man,
Who want to talk
Oh.
about that?
you watch, it's going to be
It's-
a major
it's-
highlight.
It's
of
that
the
it's that
season.
same
Here's
25% that went to the blue and white game.
Your-
know
one
what?
of your one of
I
your
care
pick
about
your
every
plays
aspect
should
of the
be
game.
over under 5 returns, whether it be punt and kick return this year.
Favorite player on the team is Crystal. So, all right. Let's get into the win-loss predictions for this year. So the way that we're going to do this is we're going to go through game by game. We're each going to, give a short little blurb and talk about whether we think we're going to win or lose the game, and then we'll wrap it up at the end. So just to level set, our gambling expert Coco looked it up, and what the line for the year is 8.5.
Yep, right
Right,
now it's
Coco?
8.5. Yep.
Okay.
8.5 wins for
So
Penn State.
we'll see. So we'll see how we fare as we get through this. So I can start. I have to schedule up, and we can just start going through. I'll start with Winnie and work our way down.
Yeah.
First one, September 1st, next Thursday at Purdue.
I'm gonna say it's tough. I'm gonna say a loss against Purdue.
Oof,
Wow.
hot.
Reason for it. Purdue actually had a really good season last year. They beat 2 big top 5 teams, Michigan State and the other one I believe was Iowa. They got a lot of guys coming back. They played in the Music City Bowl, beat Tennessee in overtime. I think they're going to be a really good team. I do, and I think that's a game that people are kind of looking past, especially for Penn State. So I think it'll be a tough game at Purdue, and I think that Penn State's going to lose.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think anyone's looking past Purdue. I think, especially the team. I mean, there's no way you're looking past a Big Ten opener on a Thursday night at Purdue.
They've upset enough teams in the past to warrant not.
I just think people are kind of
I
sleeping on it to a degree. I mean, I think Penn State's going to be really good, but I'm even kind of worried going in that.
I don't know who's sleeping on it. I mean, I think most of the college football world is excited for that game just because it's such a big game, Big Ten conference play on a Thursday night to start the college football season. I think the whole world's looking at it. I don't think anyone's looking past Purdue.
I should say looking past it, I think that people are looking more down the line at some of the other games Penn State has and not thinking as big of it, in my opinion.
Truthfully, I think it's going to be the complete opposite of last year's opener against Wisconsin, where it's just defensive, ugly slugfest back and forth. Where this year, I think both offenses have a good amount coming back. Purdue has a probably top 10 QB in the nation from their end coming back, and I think both defenses are going to be, both defenses have like some returning production, but in the end, like the offenses are just going to light up the field. I think so. I think it's going to be a close game, closer than people think, but I think in the end, we're going to pull away and get a W.
What are we supposed to talk about next week? Is my question. If we're going through all this right now.
Well, all I'm going to say here is I like a win against Purdue. I think it comes down to a battle of the quarterbacks. I mean, you got 2 very veteran quarterbacks, so we'll see how that plays out. I think the better quarterback gets the win, and I'm hoping it's Clifford.
Yeah, I think it's a toss-up to lean us, but I think in the end our talent wins out. I have us winning as well. So, all right, this is probably the furthest that Winnie's gone down the schedule so far.
I have to say, I was impressed with Winnie.
I'm ready.
We're gonna see a dip from here. It's gonna be steep decline.
No.
All right. Next game, September 10th, Ohio, the home opener. Coco, go.
We better win. If we lose out, didn't we lose to Ohio early
2012, the first game after the sanctions.
Yeah, I was gonna say
that's only time we ever lost.
If we
that's
lose
a little
Ohio,
bit of an outlier.
We're winning that game.
Yeah, I'll go with I mean, I was looking a little bit. They are a pretty experienced team, but I mean, we're just a much more talented team, obviously. So obviously, I think that's business as usual.
Winnie?
Agreed. I think it's a win. Not gonna doubt any of their experience, but I think it just we got that one for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
that kickoff was announced to be 12 o'clock, right?
Yeah,
Yep. Noon on ABC.
Yep.
So, plenty of time for those pregame grapes. So
Gross. And we would
All right.
lose then.
only if you
That's if you eat them.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, game 3, September 17th at Auburn, 3:30. Trent.
Going to that
All
game,
right, so
Trent.
this is the fun one, Winnie. If from a fan perspective, if we are overlooking a game, I think it's looking to Auburn, but I think it's more just excited to go play in the SEC, not as much
Yes.
from a team
Yes.
perspective. We should beat Auburn from a talent perspective. Their program was in shambles this past offseason. They had a ton of transfers. I think I read like 18 players transferred or something ridiculous. No one seems to be on the same page between the coaching staff, the players, the administration, the fans. It should be a win. I'm going with a win, but if we're caught off guard going down there to play in the SEC and get caught up in that environment and the big game expectations, then it can go either way. But I'm hoping for a win there, and I think we'll get the win.
Yeah, I think when we go down there, I think we're gonna show kind of last year in the Auburn game where we're gonna show that the Big Ten can't compete in the SEC and just run. I think we're actually gonna run circles around Auburn. I'm gonna be that guy that we actually blow them out down in Auburn. I have that feeling for some reason. I don't know why. I'm just confident that compared to what we have coming back, and like Trent hinted out, they had quite a few transfers and a lot of turnover and turmoil with their head coach this offseason. They have a chicken with their head cut off a little bit right now. I just think we're gonna go down there, step on their throats, and I hope we do.
Yeah, let's just rub it in Matt's face too that we'll be there.
Oh yeah, we're going to that game, Matt.
We'll be there for that game. So I hope you're right, Coco, because that'll be a fun trip.
Matt, I'll come over and watch at your house.
That's
all right. That's all right. I'm gonna be at a wedding, so fall weddings. Fall weddings. Not. I have thoughts on that, but we can save that for that particular week.
That's a good topic because I got invited to a fall wedding. So
we can save that. So, but you can guarantee. I've been told that they have a TV at the bar, and you can guarantee that's where I'm going to be. So, I agree with everything that Trent and Coco said. I think they're still figuring out their quarterback, battle, but I do think there's been a little bit of that rallying effect around Harsin now in the team. And so my thought is, I think we're more talented than 10 or 11 of the teams on this roster on the schedule, but it wouldn't be Penn State if they didn't blow a game to a team they should beat. And trying to predict that after Illinois last year is a fool's errand. So I'm going to go with the most likely scenario I have us this game.
Wow.
Would any of you be satisfied with winning if we won one of the two between Purdue and Auburn? Is that enough for this year's team's expectations?
I think they should. Well, I didn't get to say my part. I think they should beat Auburn. I do think Purdue will be a tough challenge. I know you guys think that'll be a win. I think that I'm with Kyle, and I think it's going to be more of a blowout. I did notice that I was reading that they had like a 5-game losing streak going into last year, especially losing their bowl game that they lost. And then
you mean to end the season?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
And they definitely took a slide. And I think the other piece of it is, even though I was reading that a lot of their linemen decided late to kind of come back and flex that, COVID year of eligibility. I don't think they got a great spring camp and as a unit collectively. And I don't think they have the running game figured out quite yet either.
When he has more analysis than
that's
Auburn,
that's interesting considering they ran the ball all over us last year.
Yeah, but I mean, if you look at the rest of the season, though, it really wasn't there.
They did it to us, though.
All right, that's fair.
Well,
so I think we're gonna beat them if I didn't make that clear.
I just want to throw toilet paper on that tree. Even if we win, I'll be the only guy down there.
Kyle will be arrested for poison.
I was gonna say my life would be made if Coco ends up getting arrested in Auburn.
So, no, my life will be made if he could film the podcast from in the jail
Yeah.
cell.
I did say win or lose. If we lose, I do want to go to Toomer's Corner and see the tree. So
And also, if like Trent said, if there's a game to lose, I'd rather lose I think if we lose, we don't get blown out. It's gonna be a close game, and I'd rather lose a close non-conference SEC West opponent than on the road to an inferior Purdue team. That's obviously in conference, like I said. So
I mean,
Yeah.
I think if we drop one of these games, depending on how the rest of the season goes, like if we finish strong, I'd probably be okay with it. But in the moment, I'm not gonna be satisfied. Like it's gonna drive me nuts. So
mhm.
all right,
All right.
we all got our predictions in for that one. I think so.
Mhm.
All right. All right. Next game, game 4, September 27th versus Central Michigan. Trent.
Yeah, so Central Michigan, I mean, I expect a little bit better of a game than Ohio. Central Michigan's supposed to be one of the better teams in their conference. They have I think like 12 returning starters or something I've seen. So, I mean, they're an experienced team coming back. Again, our talent should far outweigh their talent. It should just be business as usual.
yeah, I
Coco?
think again, I'm lumping in Central Michigan in the Ohio category, obviously different teams, but like any MAC or non-Power 5 team, like with our talent, like Trent said, we should be handling business. Just go in, don't get injured, play the game, just take care of it and move on the next week. Don't overlook it, of course, because under Franklin, we're known to sleepwalk some of these games at the beginning. So
I'll try to make this quick so we can get Coco out of the sunlight because I can see that look in his eyes. But
I put some sunglasses on here.
I
So
thought that was one of those halo lights that he had, to be honest with you.
I'm just the chosen one right now. I think it's going right into my face.
I could see this playing out kind of like the Villanova game last year, where we're gonna win and it's gonna end up being a convincing win by the box score, but during the game it doesn't feel like it. So I have a win, but we'll see how it plays out.
I think that happens to even some of the best teams. I mean, you'll on any given Saturday, you'll see a team that's hanging with another team that they shouldn't be. Like it's in the second quarter, and you're like, oh my gosh, like this Central Eastern Michigan's hanging with Ohio State, and then next thing you know, they lose 60-7. Like I think you see that for every team.
The Citadel hung with Alabama like a few years ago for like 2.5, 3 quarters, and then Alabama won by like 30.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like one of those safe deals.
That's pretty much every Alabama game, whether it's playing the Citadel or Arkansas. So
Winning pig.
Win. I think they're going to win. I really hope that they actually take the time though to maybe work on some new stuff. If there are anything, depending on how these first couple of games go, I'd like to see if any changes that they make that they really kind of work on everything in this game.
That would be game 4. Franklin says that there are going to be a lot of guys, young guys that are going to be, ready to go by game 4. So we'll see what happens there. All right, moving on. Big Ten home opener, October 1st versus Northwestern. I'll start. Obviously, Northwestern was very bad last year, but if you go by their,
trend,
this should be the year that they win the Big Ten West. I don't know. I'm not so sure about that. Since this one's at home, I'm gonna go get another win there. So
I'm gonna follow Thomas on this, and I'm gonna take the win too.
Yeah, I mean, I'll keep it short. I mean, Northwestern is picked to not be very good this year, assuming they don't follow the trend that Matt has talked about. Easy win.
Yeah, I think we're gonna win handily, but I'm gonna watch out on their offense. I think they have 2 O linemen projected to go in the NFL draft this year. But again, I think we're going to take care of business against Northwestern pretty handily.
Pat Fitzgerald is my favorite coach in the Big Ten. Right. I love him.
That's cute.
It's nice. He came to visit Blue Mountain High School back in the day. So, not for me, but just to clarify. But all right, October 15th on the road.
Wait a second. I think you're skipping our toughest opponent under James Franklin, the bye week.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, we'll somehow lose that.
No. It's not the bye week. It's the week after the bye.
Exactly. So I just wanted to point out we have a bye before Michigan, and Franklin's teams just cannot come out from a bye week. It's just most teams look at a bye and it's like, great, we have a bye week, a full extra week to prepare for this big game.
We roll around.
I'm the opposite.
rested,
I
healthy.
hate having a bye week before a big game. We come out flat year after year.
Yep. Especially if it's usually when we're on a roll too. So
Yep. So that being said, October 15th at Michigan. Trent.
So I'm going to pick up the pace a little bit here. I'd be shocked if we won this game. Michigan's a really good football team, returning a lot of really good players, very well coached at Michigan. I just don't see a scenario we win this game.
Yeah, I agree. It's gonna be tough. With Michigan has a bunch of skilled guys coming back, and although our secondary does match up, it's gonna be tough to win at the Big House. And big game. I feel like we always keep it close in a lot of these big games on the road and Big Ten play, and then we just find a way to lose it. Whereas last year, Michigan State or wherever, we just find a way to lose it, and that will be no different this year. So
yeah, I mean, I think talent-wise, we're pretty close. Like, I mean, we took them to the wire last year. We were one broken play by the crossing route by all the tight end from winning that game. But yeah, on the road, and especially the trend in the Franklin Harbaugh era is you trade wins at home with a couple of trend busters in there. But yeah, I would be shocked if we win this game too. I have it as a loss.
I'd be happy if we won.
Oh, yeah.
Every one of these, I'd be happy if we won.
Yeah.
Try to be upset because you didn't pick it.
I'd be upset that my pick was wrong.
Yeah, I think it's a loss too. I think Harbaugh's got him executing really well towards the end of the season last year, and I think they're going to come in with a lot of momentum this year. There's a lot of hype around them. So,
all right, October 22nd, the Whiteout game, Minnesota, 7:30. Who wants to kick it off?
I mean, I think the biggest thing you just said there was the whiteout. It should be a win. Whiteout conditions in Happy Valley against Minnesota. I'd be shocked if we lost that one.
I agree. I think it's a win. I don't think Minnesota's as good as they were in prior years. So I think they're definitely a step down from what we've seen in the past. So I think it should be a win with what we have.
Yeah, I'm worried.
Oh, sorry,
go ahead. No, go.
I'll say the Big Ten West is very crowded this year. With any team can win it, and there's talks that Minnesota may be that team. So I don't think we'll be looking past them. But again, it's going to be, are we going to be holding our heads down after most likely losing, like we said, at Michigan the prior week? But no, I think whiteout conditions, fans will be, will only be a one-loss team in my opinion at that point. So I think we'll still be play to play for, and I think we'll pull through and beat Minnesota pretty well there.
Yeah, I'm worried about the run game, but I think their passing game is lacking a little bit in terms of the receivers. So, like you said, whiteout conditions, it helps when the whiteout is not against Ohio State. So I take that as a win. So
one note there with Minnesota, Matt, I think it's interesting one that Kirk Soraka is back with Minnesota. And so I think that's an interesting little nugget. And then two, I think, film for this game will be going back to that 2019 game. And we have players on this roster still that were a part of that 2019 team when we lost to Minnesota out there. That was a huge game for them and top 10 matchup that we lost. So I think that'll be some motivation, like a good motivational factor going into this whiteout game.
Yeah, I was just going to bring that up too. So, but I'm not concerned about it. I think it's going to be like the Auburn game last year, where it's a really fun, stress-free whiteout game.
Side note for the listeners, I flew out there the morning of the Minnesota game to get to that game, and we lost. So that was a brutal flight.
Nobody cares, Trent. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
So.
It just shows my dedication compared to Matt's. That's all.
We'll drop the address if anybody wants to send him some tissues and chocolates or whatever.
No, I mean, I don't regret going. It was an awesome atmosphere, awesome stadium, way nicer stadium than Beaver Stadium for Minnesota. I will say that.
Trying to remember a few years ago, I think we were downtown State College at the Skeller, and Minnesota was at Penn State. Minnesota has some of the nicest fans. They're just generally nice people. So
yep. Yeah, that held true being at the game out there.
Oh, and probably the complete opposite of everything you just said there. October 29th, Ohio State.
Wait, Matt, you were just at Ohio Stadium. You were at the Horseshoe.
Yep. Not a fan. Not a fan. People want to trash. I'll try to make this quick. People want to trash Beaver Stadium, say it's old and outdated. Like, I get the shoe's historic. It's their 100-year anniversary. They had it placed everywhere. Not doing it for me. Like the bathrooms are falling apart. They don't have the sign for the section that you're in at the top of the section. So like, I kid you not, I think there might've been 5,000 people sitting in section 5B and we were in 5A because they were like, everyone would just get confused by the time you walk up 30 rows of steps. Like it was crazy. So, but I think Beaver Stadium's better. I think Beaver Stadium holds noise better.
Whoa, save this. This could be a future segment.
Yeah, it just, I kind of got out of everything. I will say.
All right, let's talk
One-
about the actual
yes,
game at hand.
Yes, yes. Stripe out, probably big noon kickoff. I'll kick this one off. I mean, I would love for it to be a game, but Ohio State.
Well, it's going to be a
this year,
game.
so
Yeah.
speaking.
Now, on that note, I chalk it up as a loss. I don't see a path where we win this game, but I don't think we get blown out.
No.
It should be a really good atmosphere, especially if we have one loss or even no losses going into this game. It's going to be a huge game. I think the atmosphere will keep us in it, but they're just way too talented, far more talented than we are.
Yeah, we like the past few seasons with Ohio State, we have not gotten blood on any game. Every game's close. And I'm going crazy here, but the last time that we played Minnesota at home, followed by Ohio State, what happened? It was in 2016 and we won. I don't know. I'm just feeling I'm feeling that weird.
Matt might not remember that. He was in bed
Matt, you weren't
watching
there.
it,
That's right.
watching it in bed under his blankets and covers.
One, that's all I care about.
We're winning that game, but we're winning that game.
I hope you're right.
I'm actually with Kyle. I think Halloween weekend, it's going to be kind of scary. Anything could happen. And I
Gus
think
Johnson's going to be in the call.
If we
bet-
win that game, I feel bad for my Uncle Ron because I don't want to know what his RV is going to look like after that game if we win.
Oh, I will be passed out in the middle of that RV after a
We'll get the video.
full night banger with Ron.
Well, Coco, there would be nothing more concerning for me in my upset pick like that if Winnie was on the same side as me. So take that for what you will.
Nope,
Matt, as long as you go to the game this year, I'll be happy.
Coco, listen, I learned from my lesson. I'm never going to miss another Penn State home game for the rest of my life. That cannot be said for you and Mr. Mulwinnie over there.
Well, actually, Thomas, it seems like if you do miss it, we got a better chance of winning.
That is
I mean,
true.
You should stay home, actually.
if we are moving along this year, I might sacrifice it for the that's how dedicated I am.
Oh, man.
So, all right, moving on. November 5th at Indiana. Winnie,
So
go.
go ahead, Winnie.
Trent, you got it.
I was just going to go to keep
You're
it
excited
keep it
about it.
I was just going to go keep it rolling here.
He's got his magazine there ready to go. He has all the little answers there.
Yeah, no, Indiana's supposed to be bad. I mean, they didn't win a game in the Big Ten last year. They're not going to become this miraculous team overnight. They were 2-10. They should be a little better. It's a win for us.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I'll say is we always play very bad at out in Bloomington. I know we've only lost twice, but it's not been good. So that makes me a little nervous, but I'm still gonna go with the win.
I'm hoping that sour taste that's in our mouth as fans is in the coaching staff's mouths and the players as well when it comes to playing Indiana at Indiana. I think we're a much better team this year, and I think we're a better team and they're a far worse team than in years past that we might be referring to here.
I agree with Matt, though. I think win or lose against Ohio State, I think we're going to kind of go into the Indiana game really kind of lackluster, laid back. And I think it's going to be a win for sure, but it's definitely going to not look the prettiest.
Yeah, it's going to be an ugly James Franklin, like no halftime adjustments made, weird win somehow, but it's going to be ugly. And my guess is we'll probably be sleepwalking after we beat Ohio State. We're going to clip this and we're going to say Penn State beat Ohio State, but then we're going to sleepwalk Indiana, but win.
I disagree here with Indiana. I'm over the Tom Allen hype. I think we go out there and we put on a show. I just don't think they're going to be very good at all. I think our talent, it's just going to far outweigh theirs.
Well, I guess we'll find out.
That might be a great clip in the future to use, but that's how I feel.
Either way, it's going to be a great clip. It's either going to make you look really smart or really dumb, but it's going to be a great clip for somebody. So, all right. No, November 12th at home versus Maryland. Coco.
So I earlier show I had Maryland under in their win totals, and I just don't see it with the team this year. I know Tagovailoa for them is going to be a good quarterback in the Big Ten. He's going to put up his numbers, but I don't think Maryland has a good defense coming back. It's going to be all offense on their end, so it's going to be another game like Purdue, where I think it's going to be, like first team like a crazy amount of passing yards or rushing yards wins this game, but it's going to be, I think we're going to stop Maryland, but also give up a lot of points. It's going to be ugly, but score a lot of points in the game.
So
Yeah.
fun.
No, I was gonna say I like a win here as well for us. We struggled against Maryland last year. Maryland is by no means a terrible football team. It's definitely something that I wouldn't consider a lock, but being that it's at home, I feel much more confident than I would if this was an away game. So I like the win.
One of my favorite pastimes is curb stomping Maryland. So I have us winning convincingly.
Yeah. Matt went off about the horseshoe and how that stadium sucks. Maryland Stadium, god awful. Oh, we were at the game last year. What a dump. That thing just sucks. No noise. Fans are rude. Just sucks.
Don't talk about the shell that.
Hey, but
Man.
Ron found Mikey, so.
Oh my god, that guy. Oh, and on top of that, Trent got us lost walking back to Ron's RV. We were walking around aimlessly for like
all right.
4 miles.
That's a story.
We'll another time.
That's a story for another time. But yeah,
We'll
one of the
save
most
it for that.
interesting, one of the more interesting nights I've ever had after a Penn State game.
Save it for the week of Maryland.
Probably that'll be a good time to do it.
So I'm really on the fence with this. I think Maryland's going to be pretty good. I know Kyle said defensively they don't have, they're not as strong there, but I think offensively they got a lot coming back. I really think it's going to be a close game, but you guys convinced me I'm going to lean towards the win. But I was going in thinking it was going to be a loss coming into this call.
Never felt more confident in my pick.
Yeah. So interesting note with the defense, they've had their defense coordinator is Brian Williams. He took over last year, so they've had 4 coordinators in 4 years.
Oh,
no relation to Trent Williams. Just thought we throw that out there.
And we'll see if he's good or not. Might be.
Yeah, it might be.
November 19th at Rutgers in Piscataway, New Jersey.
No commentary needed. Win.
Another trash stadium, but a win.
Okay, Coco just screwed it up. Could have just gone through. That would have been an excellent clip.
Win.
The cut for the show. But no, Coco just screwed it up.
Yeah.
So. All right. Season finale, November 26th versus Michigan State.
I think this game depends heavily on the games before it. I mean, if we're coming in with a great record, I think that game's going to be meaningful and the crowd's going to be a really good crowd and into it. I think we get the win. If we lose a couple of games before that and we're looking at another disappointing season, I could see us having thrown in the towel and taken the loss. So with that, I've had us with a pretty good season here. So I'll finish up with a win.
I think Trent opposite of that. I think we're going to go based off of my pick so far. We're going to go in with a good record, but Michigan State just had our number the past few years, and we're going to Franklin. I don't think we're going to be prepared for this game, even though we want to be. We're going to be looking ahead to playing for a Big Ten championship. Well, Matt, my record, we have 1 loss right now.
Yeah, to Ohio State, who's
we beat Ohio State.
No, we beat Ohio State.
Yeah, you did.
Matt, you got to look at those
listening
listening skills there.
You did beat Ohio State. Well, that's just because it was such a dumb pick.
Well, I think we're going to lose this game.
Okay.
I'm not that high on Michigan State this year. Like, I think they did a good job in the portal last year. I don't think that's a consistent way to win. And given the fact that it's at home, I'm going to go with the win for us.
Agreed. I think win for sure. I think our special teams, bringing it all back around here, our special teams is going to come in clutch in this game.
Oh, wow. What a prediction. when he's predicting the 12th game of the year on November 26th, our special teams are going to come into play.
You watch and see. Well, how did last year go?
Well, and we're gonna make an extra point. He's gonna be like, see, I told you.
Exactly. No, I do agree with Trent though. I think that's a fair statement to say with the last game. If we're not really in a good position, if we picked up a couple losses, I think it would be interesting to see if Franklin lets some of the young guys almost run the show at that point in the season, and maybe even the last 2 games, depending on where we're at.
And it does sound like now that we preview the regular season, from what we said so far, guys, like whatever sportsbook put that 8.5, like it's like across the board. I easily got to 9 wins easily, and I don't know about you guys. Like we all constantly pick 9 games.
All right, so I was gonna say, why don't we quick recap here what we had. So okay. I had us at 10-2 walking through picks, but I will say I have a little caveat there. I actually think we finished 9-3. I had us walking through game by game. I had a win against Auburn, Purdue, and Michigan State. I think we dropped one of those 3. I just really don't know which one. So I just going game by game, I gave them all a win rather than all a loss. But I think we dropped one and go 9-3.
And I'm looking at the same way where, like, at first I'm like, okay, what if we lose our 3 biggest games, Ohio State, Michigan, Auburn? We still finish 9-3 and go over our win total. So
is Auburn a tougher game than Purdue though? Like, I feel like Purdue's a much better team than Auburn.
I think Purdue's a tougher game.
Okay, well, like you said, put Purdue in that boat. Same way, if we lose to Purdue, we still finish. I think we win. We don't lose both Purdue and Auburn. If we do, then Franklin should be out of here.
Listen. After we lost
one more thing
last year, nothing shocks
me. I agree with Matt.
We are all Penn State fans being overly optimistic about Penn State, that's what being a fan is about. If you're going into a season being miserable already, what's the point? So,
yeah.
I mean, I had my optimistic is 9-3. Oh, I think we could be a 10 or 11 win team. We have the talent, but I just don't see that happening. I think I'm like 2 weeks ago, I was like 51-49, 8 wins. Now I'm probably like maybe 55-45, 9. So.
Yeah, I think our ceiling is 10-2. I still don't find a way to beat Michigan or Ohio State, but I think 10-2 is very within the realm of a possibility.
So I had them 10-2 with Purdue and Michigan being the losses, but I was leaning more towards what Trent was saying with 9-3, and I think that third loss would actually be Maryland if it is going to be anybody. I think it's just going to be a weird game.
That'd be a weird season.
So yeah,
I guess my. Sorry, Winnie.
No, you can go, Kyle. I'll say something after that.
No, I was just say like my Michigan State pick is similar to last year's Illinois, or a team that we shouldn't lose to. We just fall short, and I think we're gonna have that. For my pick, is gonna be that's gonna be our Michigan State game.
So let me ask you guys real quick. I know we want to keep moving, but do you think I know we keep saying about the talent that Penn State has. So do you think it's maybe some experience in certain areas, or do you think the coaching is what's going to be our fault, or even maybe just our opponents are that much more put together than we are?
I think we're more talented than every team on our roster besides Michigan and Ohio State. Michigan State, I think we're probably a little comparable to. So I do think it's, that being said, it comes down to a mixture of experience and coaching. It's a cop-out, but it's probably a little bit of both.
Yeah. I mean, you could argue atmosphere too, whether, the home game, away game, where it's at, what time and everything like that for sure. But I was just curious if, you guys were leaning more towards it sheerly being talent, or if it was of coaching driven from what we've seen.
I mean, I think if those 2 games were flipped, Michigan to Michigan State, I would probably have the win-loss flipped for both of them. I think that does play a big part because it's the experience, it's the coaching and everything that all ties together to the atmosphere.
Yeah.
All right, so we will keep track of these bets along with our other bets for the year, and I'm sure there are going to be some good clips in there that we're going to cut up later and make us all sound like idiots when these things go awry. But speaking of other bets, Coco, we're coming back for version 3 of Pick Your Plate. What do you got for us this week?
Yep.
Yeah,
so
I'm hungry. Come on.
All right, when I'm a future here, we got
please never say that again. Oh God, don't say that again.
That's
No.
my boy. We got we got some actual football games this week. Finally, it's week 0. So first one here, like probably the biggest game of the weekend. Even though it's not a big game, but it's the biggest
It
game
is
this
in week
weekend.
0.
It's a game. It's a football game that I will be watching. Nebraska and Northwestern are playing over in Ireland. Nebraska's favored 12.5 points. I know there's a lot of hype around Nebraska this year. They were the best 3-9 team last year ever. What do you guys think for that spread? Nebraska minus 12.5.
Do you think you could pick out Ireland on a map, Coco?
Yeah, probably.
Good to know.
That should be a separate topic. How do you guys feel about them being in Ireland? But
Wait, we're already going long on this. We
Yeah.
don't need to dive into
yeah, I know.
And we've played in Ireland.
that.
I know, but how do you feel about that? I know
All
even
right.
the NFL's pushing more of it now too.
All right, I like Northwestern to cover here. Nebraska has a lot more to lose. Northwestern is not supposed to be good this year. Nebraska and Scott Frost are in the hot seat. So I think Nebraska wins. I like Northwestern to cover. I think just being in Ireland with as much pressure as Nebraska has in the national spotlight for this game, I don't think they cover.
Nebraska has. Go ahead,
Sorry,
Coco.
Matt. No, you're good, Matt. You can go.
Nebraska has to win. Like, there's no other way around it. I think Northwestern's probably going to be a little bit better than everyone's giving credit for, but Scott Frost is sliding down that railing going out of the football facility the other day. He's ready to go. They have to win, but I think Northwestern's going to cover.
See, I'm on the opposite here. I think Scott Frost, like he's gonna. I think all the guys should be buying in for Nebraska. Like I've been hearing that this year, it's obviously it's make or break for Scott Frost, but I think this year everything comes together for them, and I think they're gonna throttle Northwestern. Northwestern very low expectations this year. I think in the end, Nebraska's going to cover that 12.5.
I'm in the same boat as Matt, so
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm agreeing
Thanks.
with Matt a lot today. So.
All right, Coco. What do you got next?
Last one we got here is Wyoming at Illinois. Illinois is favored by 10. I'll go first here. I think I'm high on Illinois this year. I think Winnie loves their offensive coordinator's name, and that played part into my pick here because we're big fans of that offensive coordinator. We want him to
Do you know
join
his
that.
name?
No, I forget his name, but it was a fun name.
Barry Looney Jr. or
Barry
Lovey
Looney Jr.
Yeah,
I think
that's-
he's going to have the Fighting Illini rolling here, so I think they're going to win by more than 10. So
Agreed.
I mean, I think they cover 10, although I don't know if I'm on team Illinois. I mean, they're not going to be very good, but I think they're going to be decent.
Yeah, I mean,
Respectable.
I've heard some rumblings that maybe Wyoming could come in and pull a shocker here, but I don't know. I have Illinois covering too.
Hey, I mean, if you can't beat them, join them. So, I mean, we're gonna go with Illinois on this one.
Winnie didn't even know Wyoming had a football team.
I mean, these days.
These days. All right, Coco, you got anything else for us?
Nope, that's it.
No? All right, then I think it's time for last call, gentlemen. Who wants to kick us off?
I'll kick us off. Make this a little briefer last call than normal. So Franklin's always getting bashed on, and the Penn State coaching staff for their in-game coaching and how terrible it is. So another hypothetical here: if you switch Ryan Day and James Franklin for this year's Penn State-Ohio State matchup, does James Franklin pull out the victory with the much more talented Ohio State roster?
No.
Okay. Nope. Matt? No?
No.
I'll take it.
No.
I'll say no.
So you're saying
Yeah.
Ryan Day beats Ohio State
With
with Penn State?
with Penn State's roster, yeah.
Everything is the same. The games at Penn State, all that stuff. Yeah, I think he does. I just don't know what it is about Franklin and getting teams up to play, a full big game. So I take Ryan Day.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Franklin here because I don't think Ryan Day. Okay, Ohio State is obviously a great team, but they just have even since Urban Meyer, they've always just recruited great players. So how much is it the coach versus just it's Ohio State, the brand name, recruiting great players? So is he really doing that great a job coaching? In my opinion.
Let me take a step back. is it Ryan Day and his whole staff, or is it just Ryan Day?
I was looking at it sort of as, let's just say Ryan Day and the coordinators.
I still go Ryan Day.
I think
Yeah.
I think it's fair to include the coordinators in that.
Kyle, I'll disagree with you a little bit. I think that Penn State's had some really great players, and I just think Franklin didn't execute with them well. So,
Yeah, but great.
No, I think there's
a few great players versus a team of great players, very different, Winnie.
That's
agree.
exactly right.
I agree.
I think Franklin will go over there with Ohio State with that roster, and I mean, hell, I think Winnie, with your youth football coach, you can go over there and probably keep the game close. So that's why I
for
think
sure.
I'll wrap it up here. I don't think I gave my official pick here, so I do think James Franklin would still come into Beaver Stadium and beat Ryan Day and Penn State if he had that Ohio State roster. I do think Ohio State is going to be that good this year.
they're not going to be as this year. So I'm
All right,
optimistic.
well, we'll
Yeah,
see, Coker.
we'll
That's
see.
fun.
We'll
All right,
see.
that's all I had. Who's next?
I got a fun one here. This is like just also I was also typing this up probably like the first 5 minutes of the podcast because I forgot
Well,
Brad, make one up.
Thanks for
I'm
paying
just being honest.
You were gonna forget it.
Would you rather take a full speed tackle from PJ Musafir with no pads on, or lose on a last second field goal to Rutgers this year?
Oh, yeah, I'll take one for the team. I mean,
that might be a life changer right there.
You might
I mean, I'm assuming, yes, it's gonna hurt and a little injury. I'm hoping I don't come out of it crippled or anything. So yeah, I'll let PJ.
you also try, you have the choice of running full speed at him too if you want to. If that will
That might make it worse.
What do you think, Winnie?
Oh man, yeah. I think, well, you didn't say if we lose every other game, so maybe if we just lost to Rutgers that way and we still finished the year with one loss.
He's not.
All right,
He's not.
I'll take
He's
it.
soft.
I'll
He's
take it.
soft. He's
Well,
soft.
I want to be able to,
Give-
to go to all these.
Give me. You're not going to all the games anyway, so you can. I'll take getting
Whoa,
hit by
whoa,
Mustafa all day.
Yeah, can't be worse than when you got hit by me up at the softball field net.
No, that was. I
that
don't know
was
if
a
we could
cheap
drop her
shot.
name. Yeah, we could drop her name on here.
Trent's
like
had a history of some bad hits. So.
Yeah.
Oh no,
No investigations
yeah.
needed.
No,
No,
if
investigation.
we're gonna talk about cheap shots on the 4 of us on this podcast, there's only
No,
one
this guy
person.
right here. This guy right here.
Yeah.
You guys
I'll wear
wanted
that. Winnie, what's your
All right, Kurt.
question?
My question, another kind of hypothetical, like Trent was saying. So would you rather, I forget what how I worded this, be a highly recruited player that goes to a major program and not play one down, maybe get some time your senior year, or go to like a smaller program and start, by your sophomore season?
The way I look at that is if I could go be a part of Penn State, I mean, growing up a diehard Penn State fan, even if I don't get to play the field, I'd rather be on Penn State's roster and not play than at another college playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd probably echo that, but I will say now with the era of the transfer portal, you can have both. Go be a star at the lower school and then just transfer to finish out. So.
Matt, that's exactly what I was going to say. Go to some like
Oh, no
Eastern.
fun.
Go to like Eastern Carolina. Go work your butt off and see if you can transfer to a big name program and go to Penn State, like your dream school or whatever. So I'd take the same road as Matt, actually.
If I was I feel like I'd go the opposite way though. I'd want to finish my career playing, so I'd probably go to Penn State to be on the team and then transfer to a smaller school.
Yeah, that's fair.
We've always known you're a quitter, Trent. So
All
right,
quitter, I mean,
mine is for this year. Would you rather go to a New Year's Six bowl with a loss to Ohio State during the regular season, or go to a lesser bowl game with a win against Ohio State?
Ooh, that's really good.
I'm gonna say a lesser bowl with the win against Ohio State, because I would transition that into like a turning of the tide. That like going into that following season, we're gonna be even better, right? We're gonna kind of go off of that hype.
Yeah, I agree.
I was just saying, you use that like beating Ohio State as like on like the recruiting side of things. Like, hey, we're able to hang with this team now, and if you have a recruit on the fence between Penn State, Ohio State, take them to the stripe out and show that atmosphere, beating Ohio State, and yeah, if you make a lesser bowl game, who cares? It's a bowl game. So
I like I know where you're going with this, but I think I have to go the opposite. I'd rather the going to New Year's Six means we had a successful season. I think Ohio State's going to be great this year, so losing to them is not something that's not expected by a majority of the people. So I'd rather have the great season, go to the New Year's Six Bowl, but lose the expected game to Ohio State. I don't think that's turning anyone's head.
Yeah. I mean, I was on the fence on it too, but I think
Yeah.
the 2016 is too far in the rearview mirror. It doesn't really matter anymore. Like I think
Oh.
we
The guy,
need
the guy that wasn't there wants to forget it, of course.
I didn't say forget it. I just say it doesn't matter anymore. So I think we need that to just kind of get the belief back on this roster that you can actually beat them. Because I think there's going to be plenty of time for 10-2s and New Year's Six bowls in the next couple of years.
He hasn't forgot that 2005 season somehow though.
That's because when I fell in love with Penn State football.
He hasn't forgotten that, but that he remembers 2005, but not 2016. Funny how that works.
Hey, the nostalgia of being a kid, right?
All these fair weather fans, Trent.
Oh,
we should really do an over under on how many games Winnie and Coco are going to attend this year combined.
Yeah.
Might not even.
That was a good pick you played. I mean, that was a good last call there. Better than Winnie's last week of do you like dogs at tailgates?
still surprised. I really thought Coco would say no, just because
Who
how
the
he
hell
gets.
doesn't like dogs? That's why I want to know. Like,
Who doesn't like grapes at tailgates?
if you don't like dogs, you're not a friend of the pod. So,
all right,
lost us a couple
wrap it up,
listeners.
Matt.
We lost a couple cat people on that.
All right. I think that's a wrap. Everyone just remember, follow us on our socials at PSU Tailgate Talk, PSU Tailgate Talk @gmail.com. We're getting some views. We need some more followers. We got to beat that algorithm. So we're trying to do it with mediocrity. So
Apple Podcasts, Spotify, we're everywhere now.
Yep.
yeah,
we're getting big. We're getting big. We're blowing up. So
we,
all right.
We do have listeners in like Texas and Florida. So thank you to those people who
we're
are listening.
We're coast to coast from sea to shining sea.
Yeah,
so.
clearly Coco's in a high rise right now, so we're making it big.
I can actually afford it with this podcast. I can afford to live in one of these luxury apartments now.
He was able to go out and buy a polo shirt and clean himself up a little bit. So,
Yep.
all right. That's all for Tailgate Talk. We'll see you next time.